In, in spite of some heavy fog coming over the confines of McKeon Park here in Hyannis, we're set to play through it anyway, as the Harbor Hawks return to McKeon Park for the second time in as many days and for the fifth time in 9 games. They welcome in the third place Falmouth Commodores tonight as the two are set to go for their second showdown of the year. Game 1 was a thriller to say the least out at Gov Fuller Field, a 9-9 tie in which Hyannis coughed up 2 different 5-run leads, and which is their only point on the board so far this season. However, if it ain't broke dating back to that game, don't fix it. Tyler Madison, the man who went 5 strong innings out in Falmouth last week, is set to take the mound for the second time this season, squaring up against these very Falmouth Commodores. Madison turning in the strongest start maybe of any Hyannis pitcher through the first 8 games of the season. 5 innings, just 2 hits, 1 run, no walks, and 6 strikeouts. And he's here towing the slab at McKeon Park for the first time in 2019, looking to get Hyannis their first win of the summer. It's the Commodores and the Harbor Hawks here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. With that, we'll welcome you into the broadcast. Lyle Goldstein, Brendan Howe here with you, and we thank you so much for joining us here tonight as things are just about to get started here at McKeon Park. Start of playtime was a little uncertain here for a little bit, Brendan, as there was some heavy fog clouding over the park for a while, but they're going to try to play through it, at least for the time being, as catcher Adam Hackenberg throws down to second. And things are just about to get started. So 6:01 here at McKeon Park, and they're going to try to play some ball.
It's going to be a bit tough for these infielders as well as the outfielders on some pop flies. The lights are muffled a bit by this heavy fog that's rolled over the ballpark coming in off the harbor.
So Hayden Cantrell, the Louisiana Lafayette second baseman, digs into the left side as the righty Madison picks his hands over his head, now comes home. Fastball called, strike on the inside corner, and we're underway. 6:01 first pitch time here at McKeon Park. Cantrell comes off a very strong outing the last time around against Hyannis as he watches one down. In fact, he's already 2 pitches deeper into this at-bat, or a further pitch deep into the at-bat than he was the last time he faced Madison, as he hit that leadoff home run on the first pitch of Falmouth's bottom of the first back at Gov Fuller Field. Tyler misses high with the next offering, and it's 2 balls and a strike. So Cantrell, who got off to a bang back just under a week ago, last Friday night, has himself at a 2-1 count, swings right through that one, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hyannis tonight wearing their home white uniforms, the pinstripe blues on the white jerseys, the orange Hyannis striped across the chest, as well as white pants with the blue trim, blue hats with the orange H on the bill, or right on the cap. Now 2-2, called strike 3 on a breaking ball from Madison. There's strikeout number 1 as he punches out Cantrell, and a good start for the Bryant right-hander.
Yeah, Madison picking up right where he left off against these Commodores. It's been 6 days since he's seen them, but had good command of the fastball in that start, and once again, another breaking ball dropped in there.
So that'll bring up Trey Cruz, the number 2 hitter in the lineup. The rest of the Falmouth lineup will go like this. Jackson Coots hitting third, Steven Moretto in the cleanup spot, Barron Radcliffe, the Georgia Tech DH, hitting fifth. As Madison winds and fires, it's a swing and a miss from the hitter Cruz. Troy Clonch hitting sixth, the Oregon State catcher set to make his Cape Cod League debut. He'll be followed by Michael Turner, Blake Dunn, and Zach DeLoach out of Texas A&M, rounding out the 9. Now Madison's 0-1. Fastball just down. So Tyler, pretty much a 3-pitch guy for Hyannis. A fastball, changeup, curveball in his arsenal. And the offering, that's downstairs, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Fastball sitting in the low to mid-90s, but has the ability to overpower hitters up on the mound. Madison stands at 6'4", 235 pounds as he fires home, swing and a miss. Takes something off of that one to level up the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Trey Cruz, 364 hitter coming into today. And he comes off a 4-for-4 appearance in Falmouth's last game against Wareham. Now the offering pops foul up and out of play. So Madison, second start of the summer. Once again, 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, just the 1 run, no walks, and 6 strikeouts back last Friday at Gov Fuller Field. The 2-2 pushes him off the plate, and it might have got him. Yes, it did. So Trey Cruz just plunked on the inner part of the leg with that last offering, and he'll move down to first base for the first base runner of the evening for the Commodores.
And no hard feelings that time as Cruz on his way down to first picked up the ball that had rolled down the chalk and fired it back to Madison.
It didn't hit him too hard. Just might have got him. That's on that inner leg or jersey area. Now that turns things to Jackson Coots, the Rhode Island left fielder. Madison throws over to first. Brooks Carlson applies the tag, but back safely the runner, Trey Cruz. So Tyler's now going to work out of the stretch. Still stands from the first base side of the rubber, and he'll set right at the belt. Winds and fires. Down low, and it's ball one. The Hyannis defense tonight, from left to right in the outfield, Trevor Hoover, Mitch McIntyre, and Rigsby Mosley. Same way around the infield, Jared DeSantolo, Nick Lofton, Anthony Servideo, and Brooks Carlson. And one more time, the battery, Adam Hackenberg behind the plate, and the Bryant right-hander Tyler Madison on the mound. He wheels and fires the next pitch, misses just outside in the right-handed batter's box, and it's 2-0. Coots represents what is one of what would be 4 natural left-handed hitters. However, there's 6 hitting from the left side tonight for Falmouth against the right-hander Madison. The first 2 in the order, Cantrell and Cruz, both switch hitters. 2-0, down low, and Madison finds himself way behind. It's 3 balls and no strikes. Coots coming into the day hitting .375. He's had himself a nice start to begin his Cape League season. But Tyler now comes back the 3-0, and it misses up and in, ball 4. So back-to-back free passes issued by the Bryant right-hander. And that puts a man aboard, moves another down to second. And it's just 1 down for the cleanup hitter, Steven Moretto.
And that's the first free pass Madison's issued all season. Didn't have a walk in his first start against these Commodores back at Gov Fuller. Trying to work out of some trouble now with 2 men on and just 1 out.
And so we got the leadoff man, Hayden Cantrell, to strike out looking, who got the better end of Madison back last week with that leadoff home run. Since then, though, 2 free passes, a hit by pitch, and a walk. It comes back with a fastball. That's good at the bottom of the zone for a called strike. Moretto looking to jumpstart his Cape season a little bit. He's just 4 for his first 24. The defense playing back. DeSantolo just about even with the bag at third. Now the offering. Ground ball squiggled down the third baseline. DeSantolo can't make the play. It skips over his glove. Beating it out at first base, Steven Moretto. Everybody moving up 90 feet. And Falmouth has the bases loaded with just 1 down. So a tough play for DeSantolo, who had to charge into the infield grass, tried to field it off that front leg glove side. But just timed it a little bit off as it skipped over that glove, or maybe just got the end of his mitt. And as a result, it packs the bases rather. And it'll bring up Baron Radcliffe. Madison ready, first offering. That's down with a changeup. Radcliffe, another left-handed hitter. 2 for his first 9 to start the Cape League season. He doesn't have an RBI, though, although pretty bright opportunity right here. 1-0, fouled straight back into the netting. Radcliffe had a tough season at Georgia Tech. He hit just .195, but he's got some power in his repertoire. 9 extra base hits, as well as 16 RBIs. The 1-1, down low, 2 balls and a strike. So Madison, who looked just about as sharp as can be in start number 1 back in Falmouth, dancing himself into a little bit of trouble here in the top of the first. He peeks over the glove, fires from the windup, swing and a miss. Radcliffe swings over the top of a Madison offering, and the count evens up at 2-2. And that fog still bright on display here at McKeon Park as Mitch McIntyre engulfing it a little bit in straightaway center. Tyler Madison gets the sign, 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Radcliffe goes down swinging as Madison makes it 2 strikeouts on the evening, and there's 2 down in the top of the first.
That's a big answer by the right-hander out of Bryant. A couple of free passes, the hit by pitch, the walk, and then the error by DeSantolo at third base, but not letting it frazzle him too much on the hill. Is coming back with a big strikeout on a high fastball.
So welcome to the Cape League, Troy Klotch. The Oregon State catcher kicks some dirt in the right side of the box as he's set for his first at-bat of the season, and already puts himself in a pretty potent opportunity. Bases juice, 2 outs, as Madison working from the windup again. The Bryant righty stares in the Oregon State Beaver and fires home. Curveball right at the top of the zone, strike 1. So Troy Klotch kind of taking the key from Adley Rushman up to this point. As Madison's ready, the 0-1. Ground ball up the middle to his left, Nick Lofton. He has a play on it, flips to Servideo at second just in time. 6-4 fielder's choice to get Madison out of a bases-loaded jam in the top of the first, and a 0 goes up on the board for the Commodores. So no runs, no hits, 1 error, and 3 left on base. We'll go to the bottom of the first when we return on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. From one lengthy right-hander to another, as ties up a 0 in the top of the first, Falmouth takes the field and sends out the 6'6" right-hander Franco Alamon out of Florida International. As he takes a breath, back turn to the plate behind the mound, set to face a Harbor Hawks lineup that goes like this. Mitch McIntyre leading off, followed by Jackson Olson, Trevor Hopper, Jared DeSantolo in the cleanup spot, and Nick Lofton moving down to the 5th spot. As the righty kicks and deals the first pitch to McIntyre, fastball outside corner, strike 1. Brooks Carlson hitting 6, Rigsby Mosley in the 7th spot, Adam Hackenberg hitting 8th, and rounding out the 9, Ole Miss second baseman Anthony Servideo. Zalamon's ready. The offering, McIntyre checks his swing on a fastball low, peel down to third, and doesn't go around. Alamon, a rising sophomore, hails from Tampa, Florida, and attended Alonzo High School. Much like Madison, also making his second start of the summer. As he winds and deals the next offering. It's down low with a curveball, 2 balls and a strike. Curveball, just 1 of 3 pitches that Alamon has in his arsenal. Low to mid-90s fastball, also mixes in a change and a curve. The FIU righty, ready and deals. McIntyre swings and pops one the other way, foul down the left field line, moving back to third baseman Moretto. He can't get there. Count goes to 2-2. Alamon will get a new ball on the top of the mound. And McIntyre, another guy who's kind of looking to jumpstart his Cape League season a little bit. Here in his second stint with the Harbor Hawks, but comes into today 4 for his first 25. Of course, still very early. Mitch has a lot of time to turn things around, as he pinwheels the bat out at the mound once or twice, and now he's into his stance with the bat above his left shoulder. Alamon takes a big breath as he kicks and fires. Breaking ball, spoiled foul again over the netting.
Well, you mentioned McIntyre struggling a little bit with the bat, but he's made up for it on the mound. He's tossed 2 scoreless innings as well, so a very nice asset for Coach Chad Gassman.
And McIntyre, a two-way player at school. Of course, the 18 scoreless innings for BYU, and so far, 2 scoreless frames for the Harbor Hawks. 2-2, line foul behind home plate. Mitch has 2 RBIs. Usually hits out of the leadoff spot where he sits tonight. Falmouth defense playing all the way back with nobody on, nobody out, of course. First at bat of the bottom of the first. The wind and the 2-2. Down low and the count fills up. Bit of a sparse crowd at McKeon Park tonight. The blue bleachers on the third base side, about 2/3 filled. But the grandstand's just about a quarter full. Now the 3-2. Broken background ball up the middle to his left, the shortstop Cruz. Fields fires just in time. 6-3 put out to begin the bottom of the first as Mitch McIntyre grounds out for out number 1. So Alamon had to work to McIntyre there, went all the way to a full count. But a good pitch at the bottom of the zone got McIntyre to kind of just dribble one off the end of the bat. And it'll transfer things to Jackson Olsen, the number 2 hitter. Alamon raises his arms and elbows above his head, and now he fires home. Off speed, called strike 1. So Alamon's already had one pretty overpowering start on the Cape. And now he fires the 0-1 home. Outside corner and bottom of the zone, strike 2 to Olsen. Alamon went 5 innings in his first start of the summer. Just 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. As he comes set and fires home, swing and a miss. Olsen punches out for out number 2. First strikeout of the evening for Alamon. And he's looked mighty sharp through the first 2 hitters of the ball game.
Yeah, after a couple of games out of the lineup for Olsen, that time fanning through a low fastball. The fog, I'm sure, doesn't help him out much, but over the top of that one, and he heads back to the bench.
So now that brings up Trevor Hauver. He had one of the 4 Hyannis hits last night. And what was a 4-0 loss to the Orleans Firebirds right here in Hyannis. But the imposing Alamon gets the sign from the catcher Clonch. He fires home. Fastball down low. The Falmouth defense tonight. Jackson Coots in left. Blake Dunn in center. Zach DeLoach in right from left to right. As Alamon will fire home. Trevor swings and nibbles one right side. Coming to his right, the first baseman. That's Turner. Flips to first, but Hauver beats it out. So there's an infield base hit for the Harbor Hawks to start the bottom of the first. As Turner, the first baseman, had to move to his right, waited for the ball to get to him a little bit, and then tried to flip to Alamon, covering from the mound to first, but not quite in time. And there's the first man aboard for the Harbor Hawks.
I think Alamon actually did beat Hauver to the bag. I just don't think he ever got the right foot down. I think when he got the flip from Turner, he was still focused on making sure he caught the ball in the webbing of the glove. He just missed the tag.
So now Jared DeSantolo, who normally hits in the 5 or 6 spot, all the way up to the cleanup duty tonight. As Alamon has to work out of the stretch. He'll check the runner Hauver at first. He has about a step and a half lead. Fires home. DeSantolo watches a breaking ball in for a strike right on the inside corner. Now the rest of the Falmouth defense. As we mentioned, Michael Turner at first base. Over at second, Hayden Cantrell, Trey Cruz at short, Steven Moretto at third, and Troy Clonch doing the catching behind the plate. Pitch to DeSantolo. Down low, Hauver takes off for second, delayed steal, throw by Clonch, spiked in the dirt, and it gets by the shortstop Cruz. So Hauver slides into second, no problem, picking up a stolen base, and the Harbor Hawks have a runner in scoring position with 2 down.
Well, Hauver lucked out by a mile there. That throw beat him to the bag by about 10 feet there, but sliding in safely as the throw just hopped under the glove of Cruz. Couldn't pick it out of the dirt.
It looked like a delayed steal from here, but maybe he picked it up a little late. Sure looked like a delayed steal, but nevertheless, worked out for the better of Hyannis. Zalamon's pitch to DeSantilo's down low. It's 2 balls and a strike. Hyannis' only point of the season has come against the Commodores. Once again, 2 points go in the scorebook and the standings for a win, 1 for a tie, and of course none for a loss. The 9-9 tie back at Gov Fuller Field last Friday night is the 1 point that the Harbor Hawks have garnered as Clonch will call time, as the Oregon State Beaver runs out to the mound to go over a couple of things with the FIU righty, Franco Alamont. But Hyannis, aside from that, 0-7 against opponents not named Falmouth, but looking to do some damage and get themselves on the board here. Hoffer stands at second after the infield single. And then, of course, he swipes second to put himself in scoring position. But for DeSantilo, who comes into the game hitting .333 and does particularly well against right-handed pitching, looking to capitalize. 2-1, curveball for a called strike right at the bottom of the zone. Deuce is wild, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 0-0 in the bottom of the first. Fog may be lightening up a little bit, but still pretty prevalent here at McKeon Park. Alamont stares Don Haver at second. Now he'll fire home. DeSantilo swings and lines one foul opposite way. So Alamont got Mitch McIntyre to ground out to begin the inning, and struck out Jackson Olsen, and couldn't get his foot on the bag quite in time, giving way to a Trevor Hoffer 2-out infield single. But DeSantilo, pretty calm and quiet stance in the box. Alamont fires home, and he dribbles one foul right side. DeSantilo just finished up his sophomore year at Florida Atlantic. He had 8 extra base hits there to go along with that .298 average. Alamont gives him a long look, now comes set and fires home from the chest. Checks his swing on a breaking ball. He appeals down and he goes around. So DeSantilo punched out to end the inning. Second strikeout of the night for the right-hander Franco Alamont. And that leaves Trevor Hoffer stranded on the bases after the 2-out infield single. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on. And it's 0-0 here through an inning of play. We'll go to the top of the second when we come back on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Top of the second here in Hyannis as it's 0-0 between the Harbor Hawks and the visiting Falmouth Commodores as Tyler Madison toes the rubber for inning number 2 of his night, and he's set to face the bottom third of the Falmouth lineup. Michael Turner, the Kent State first baseman, digs in from the left side as the righty Madison fires home. Fastball good for a strike, painted perfectly on the outer black. So Madison taking his time up on the rubber, stares down the hitter Turner. Now winds and deals. Off speed, that misses low and away. Turner didn't play in the last Falmouth contest where they picked up a win over the Wareham Gatemen by a score of 8-5. But he's in the 7th spot tonight as Madison counters with a fastball that misses just inside. Falmouth sits at 3rd in the Western Division with 7 points. They have 3 wins, so 2 points for each of those. 3 losses and then 1 tie. Madison ready, 2-1, swing and a miss. Good off-speed pitch, low and away, getting the hitter Turner fooled. That moves it to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Turner hit just under 370 in his season at Kent State. 2-2. Line drive into short right field, coming quickly. Rigsby Mosley can't get there. It drops in front of him. Leadoff base hit for the Kent State product, Michael Turner, and there's a man aboard with nobody down.
Sinking liner that time off the bat of Turner, just dumped into right field in front of Mosley. Made a charge at it early on, but then let it fall in front of him, perhaps trying to avoid it skipping behind him.
Now that shifts things to Blake Dunn, center fielder out of Western Michigan. He's hitting just 176 so far on the Cape. Madison back to the stretch. The third baseman DeSantolo even with the bag. First pitch, fastball, low and on the outside corner, strike 1. Dunn came in to pitch hit against Wareham. Didn't end up reaching base, so he recorded an 0-for-1 day. As Madison throws over to first, back with a head-first dive, the runner Michael Turner. Although Dunn really might be the man responsible for Hyannis not having a win on the board yet this season, as Madison will come set and fire home. Fastball just inside. If you date back to that third game of the season, it was a 9-9 tie again between Falmouth and Hyannis out at Gov Fuller Field. But Hyannis was threatening back in their top half of the 9th inning. And Jackson Olsen lined one out to center, but here Madison comes home. Breaking ball good for a strike. Olsen lined one out to center, out at Gov Fuller, again, back in the top of the 9th inning. But Blake Dunn came on, gave a full-out extension, left his feet, dove forward, and made an absolutely spectacular diving catch to keep the Harbor Hawks off the board. 1-2 spiked in the dirt. Turner thought about going, now gets back to first. A back pick from Hackenberg. He's safe. As Turner stands up, going to the bag, the tag by Brooks Carlson not applied in time. So Madison with that last pitch put one a little out in front of the catcher, Hackenberg. Skipped to his right a little bit and tried to back pick the runner, Turner, who thought about going to second and then decided otherwise. Now Madison gazes down the hitter, Dunn. 2-2. Pop-up foul, right side, and it gets out of play. Over on the big grass field, it serves as a high school soccer field. So Dunn quickly stepped out of the box, now back in. But once again, that unbelievable diving catch kept the Harbor Hawks off the board in the 9th, and the score stayed 9-9 the rest of the way. 2-2 offering, swing and a miss. Good fastball by Madison right at the top of the zone, overpowering the hitter Blake Dunn. And there's one out here in the top of the 2nd. Third strikeout on the night for the Bryant right-hander.
Yeah, that time just another beautiful fastball out of the hand of Madison. And after straining the bases loaded in the last inning, he's back to rolling right here in the 2nd. Couple of quick outs.
So Madison now set to face Zach DeLoach, the Texas A&M right fielder. Tyler will take a breath and comes home out of the stretch, fouled left side on a line drive, but over the Harbor Hawk dugout. Once again, fog continuing to lighten up a little bit. There was some wind gusting in right at about 5:45, so about 15 minutes before first pitch time. And things looked a little bit bleak here from McKeon, but eventually things started to burn away a little bit as Madison fires a fastball on the inside corner for a strike. Things started to burn away, and as a result, didn't affect play, at least so far. And things are off and rolling now here from Hyannis. 0-2 the count with 1 down. 0-0 the score, each team with 1 hit. Madison fires home. Looked like a changeup. That misses down. So Trevor Hauver had the infield single representing the one Harbor Hawk base knock. And just a minute ago, the single out to short right from Michael Turner. Deloach flips the bat out toward Madison a couple times. Now he's into his stance. Tyler gets his sign, comes home. Off speed, misses upstairs. So Blake Dunn kept the Harbor Hawks from a win back at Gov Fuller Field. That one ended 9-9 in what was one of 2 extra inning games Hyannis has played so far this season. Tyler Madison takes a breath on the mound. The 2-2. Line drive out to right. Mosley over to his left. Our right makes the catch and throws it back in with no problem. So a good piece of hitting there from the hitter Deloach. Line one out to right, but no problem for Rigsby Mosley, who was right in the line of play. Moved about 3 or 4 steps to his left and made the grab. So now they'll bring up Hayden Cantrell. Once again, Cantrell, the man who hit that leadoff home run against Madison just 6 days ago. And that, of course, playing another factor into what sent things to extra innings. Of course, you can't blame Madison. That was the only run and one of only 2 hits he gave up. He put together a phenomenal start as he drops in a breaking ball at the bottom of the zone. That was the second extra inning game the Harbor Hawks had played in. The first one came right on opening night here at McKeon Park against the Chatham Anglers. Madison the stretch and the 0-1 offering. Line drive out to short center field. Lofton going back. He can't get there. It drops onto the grass. Moving up to second base, Michael Turner, and Hayden Cantrell picks up his first hit of the night, putting 2 Falmouth runners aboard with 2 outs. So Madison, after giving up the leadoff hit to Turner, recorded a strikeout and a flyout before that 2-out hit extends the Falmouth rally. Trey Cruz, the hitter. He, much like Cantrell, can hit from both sides, but digs in from the left side here against the righty Madison. Tyler checks the runner. Nick Lofton not giving a hold. Now he comes home, swings at the first pitch, lofts one out to short center. McIntyre coming in, and he makes the catch on the run. So Madison escapes another jam, this time with 2 aboard in the top of the second. But there goes another Falmouth 0 up on the new Hyannis scoreboard as we're through an inning and a half here, and it's 0-0 at McKeon Park. We'll be back for the bottom of the second when we return on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Five, six, seven due up for Hyannis in the bottom of the second frame is Franco Alamon, the Florida international right-hander. Sets just behind the mound as we're just about set to start inning number 2 in the bottom half of the frame. Madison, Hyannis right-hander, got out of that jam to end the top of the second. And now Nick Lofton, the Baylor Bear, into the right side of the box to begin the bottom half of the frame. Alamon, the opposing figure on the mound, fires the first pitch home. It misses up high. Franco Alamon faced just 4 in the bottom of the first. But otherwise, a pretty clean inning of work. Fires home to Nick Lofton, misses high and away, ball 2. Lofton also responsible for one of the 4 Harbor Hawk hits last night. A 1-for-4 day as he comes into tonight's contest, hitting just under 270. The pitch, swinging a ground ball out on 2 hops to the shortstop Cruz. Fields it out in front, throws on the run to first in time. 1 away on 3 pitches in the bottom of the second as Lofton grounds out to the shortstop Cruz.
Yeah, just a routine ground ball that time, and Lofton up squaring that one up just how he'd like to. Was showing some nice beat down the line there, but Cruz with a nice play to get the out.
So Lofton retired by his counterpart. Now they'll bring up Brooks Carlson. First offering, up high. So Alamon's already shown some pretty powerful stuff. 2 strikeouts to his name. Madison has 3, although he's worked just a little bit more to this point than Alamont. Offering, Carlson, ground ball left side to his right, the shortstop Cruz spins, fires to first. Can't be dug out by Turner, and it gets behind him. So Carlson beats it out at first base with an infield single. And the Harbor Hawks have their second hit of the evening. So Trey Cruz, right after retiring Nick Lofton having to charge in, had to shift way over to his left, made the play behind the bag at second, had to make a spin and quick fire. And it looked like it was just about on line. It sent Michael Turner, the first baseman, a bit to his left, and he couldn't quite stretch out and corral the baseball. As a result, it puts Carlson aboard, and Rigsby Mosley, the Troy outfielder, digs in. Another left-handed hitter tonight for Hyannis. First pitch from the stretch, fastball for a called strike. So Falmouth has 6 lefties in the lineup tonight, if you include the 2 switch hitters, Hayden Cantrell and Trey Cruz. And Hyannis more the same. 6 left-handed bats against the righty Alamont. Carlson a very short lead at first, not getting much attention. Franco fires home, it misses up high. Adam Hackenberg, the catcher, awaiting on deck. But Rigsby looks to put himself on a little bit of a hot streak here. As he wiggles the bat above his left shoulder. Swings and misses through an Alamont breaking ball. And the count will move to 1-2. But Franco Alamont, who's not unprone to going deep into the ball game, as he went over 5 innings, or at least 5, 8 times as a freshman, and went 7+ twice. Mosley swings at the next offering, pops one into shallow center field. Incoming Blake Dunn, calls everybody off, and he makes the grab, moving a step or 2 to his left as well. Carlson back to first. 2 down, and it brings up the Clemson catcher, Hackenberg. So Adam Hackenberg, who himself has had a very hot start for the Harbor Hawks, digs in from the right side. In fact, he's hitting .444. Franco Alamon shakes his head once at the catcher. Troy Clonch doesn't like that sign. Now gets one he likes. Fires home from the stretch. Curveball swinging a pop-up out of play on the right side. Hackenberg 4 for his first 9. 1 home run to go along with 2 RBIs. Carlson a short lead at first. Turner holding him on there. Now the pitch in. Breaking ball outside corner, strike 2. Some good off speed from the righty Alamon. So he's thrown 31 pitches through an inning and 2/3. And once again, he has no issues working deep into ball games. He comes set. Checks Carlson at first, now fires. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 3 for the right-hander Alamont is Hackenberg's fan for the final out of the bottom of the second. So both power pitchers going toe for toe through the first 2 innings of play. It's Falmouth nothing, Hyannis nothing here from McKeon Park. And we'll be back for the top of the 3rd when we come back on the Cape Cod Baseball Network.
Bringing him back into McKeon Park for the top half of the third inning. The right-hander from Bryant, Tyler Madison, back on the bump for his third inning of work tonight. 3, 4, and 5 due up in the Falmouth Commodores lineup. Jackson Coots, Stephen Moretto, and Barron Radcliffe. Madison tonight has worked a couple of nice innings. Got out of a bases-loaded jam in the first. And set to face Coots for the second time tonight as he drops in a breaking ball, wave and a miss from the URI left fielder, 0-1. Identical lines for both teams, no runs, 2 hits, with the exception of the one Harbor Hawk error. Madison winds and fires the 0-1. A fastball that's in there, paints the inside corner, 0-2. Coots tonight walked and was stranded at second as part of that bases-loaded jam back in the first that Madison was able to escape. Looking to pick up a strikeout here, the 0-2 offering. Swung on and missed, strike 3, down he goes. So Madison picking up right where we left off. He had one back in the second inning. Now starting off the inning with a bang, here comes Stephen Moretto.
He just raises the eye level on that fastball again, right at the top of the zone, appealing to the hitter. And Coots just couldn't quite hold off as he cuts right through it.
So here is Moretto digging in from the right side. He reached courtesy of the error from Jared DeSantolo. First pitch from Madison, a breaking ball, checked his swing as it skips behind Hackenberg, appeal to first, but no go, says first base umpire Mike Rabideau. So Madison shrugs his shoulders a couple times, ready for the 1-0. Curveball dropped in for a strike right down the heart of the plate. Madison went 5 innings in his first start against the Commodores. The 1-1 on the way. Fastball up top, 2-1. Gave up just 2 hits in that outing. So in order to match that, he would have to be perfect the rest of the way through his outing. Gave up 1 earned and struck out 6 in that start as well. The 2-1. Fastball swung on and lifted up toward the back of the netting and drifts out of play. Madison comes into tonight with a 1.8 ERA, and he's only helping that out. Cruising into the third inning without allowing anything. So Moretto waves the bat out toward the right-hander a couple times and set for a 2-2. Here it is. Fastball left it too high. Moretto watched it go by above the letters, and the count runs full. Right-hander shakes off a couple signs from the Clemson catcher Hackenberg. Now he's got one. Payoff pitch on the way. Fastball foul tipped at the plate and off the foot. As Moretto trying to walk it off down the first baseline, he turns back to home plate. Just a bit of a stinger. Couple words for Hackenberg on the way by. So he'll reset himself for another 3-2. Fog starting to leave the confines of the ballpark just a little bit. Came in heavy early on, just about 15 minutes before scheduled first pitch time. But baseball shall go on. The next payoff pitch is swung on and lifted in the air on the left side. DeSantolo drifting over into foul territory, calling off Lofton, and he'll make the catch. So that'll bring up Barron Radcliffe.
And a good job by DeSantolo, just tracking it all the way. Doesn't really take his eyes off the ball at any point. Tracks it down, moving to his right in foul territory. And, of course, a lot of room for foul ground here at McKeon Park. Just had a good beat on it all the way.
So the big man Radcliffe stepping in already 0 for 1. Was a strikeout victim back in the first. Radcliffe, a rising junior out of Georgia Tech. First pitch from Madison, a fastball is swung on and popped up out of play. He was a 40th round selection back in the 2017 draft by the Atlanta Braves. They're trying to turn the heads of some more scouts down here in the Cape Cod League in 2019. 0-1 pitch, chopped foul down the first baseline. Barehanded play by the Falmouth first base coach as he flips it back into his dugout. So Madison in line for another strikeout. He's gotten ahead of Radcliffe 0-2 in this at-bat. 2 down, top of the third, no score from McKeon Park. From the windup, the 0-2 delivery. Fastball again spoiled away back to the net. So the count will hold. Madison racked up 67 strikeouts in his college season at Bryant. As the next 0-2, breaking ball misses outside. So Radcliffe, the Georgia Tech DH, trying to battle back against the right-hander Madison, who's been so strong for Hyannis. One of the bright spots in this rotation early on in the summer campaign, the 1-2. Fastball foul tip straight back. So the 6'4" outfielder hanging tough. Madison actually matches Radcliffe in height. They both stand at 6'4". It's the next 1-2 on the way. Fastball up high, leaning back was Radcliffe. So the count will draw even. Barron struggled with the bat a bit in his college season at Georgia Tech, just a 195 average. The 2-2. Breaking ball in there, strike three, got him. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Tyler Madison as he trots back to the dugout, gets a fist pump from his catcher Hackenberg, and the score stays knotted at zeros. Bottom of the third coming up with Hyannis trying to get something on the board when we come back on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Bottom of the third here from McKeon Park. 9-1-2 set to go for the Harbor Hawks in this half of the inning. Anthony Servideo, Mitch McIntyre, and Jackson Olson. Starter Franco Alamon from Florida International still going strong, matching Tyler Madison stride for stride and pitch for pitch. Both starters have been very strong early on here in the ball game tonight. Servideo still looking for his first hit on the summer as he watches a fastball inside, good for a called strike. So he struggled a little bit with the bat, but has been ultra aggressive at the plate. He's gone after a lot of first pitches as the third baseman Moretto playing just back off the lip of the grass. A 1 fastball brushes Servideo back a bit, evens up the count 1-1. This Hyannis offense, 8th in the CCBL in runs with just 27. Have not plated one in 19 innings of play going back to Sunday at Brewster. 1-1 breaking ball misses wide, 2 balls and a strike to Servideo. Now we know Anthony can play some ball. Garnered some recognition down in the state of Florida. Was ranked the number 61 overall prospect as he fouls away a 2-1 fastball into the netting off to the left. And the count evens. Servideo 5'10", 170, but packs a punch with the bat, batting from the left side. Alamon's ready, a 2-2. Up high, and the count swells to 3-2. So the infield back, outfield pretty much straight up. Dunn, the center fielder, shaded a bit to the left of the second base bag. Alamon set, a payoff delivery. Curveball spoiled away. So the count stays right where it is. Servideo, McIntyre is on deck. Servideo at the dish, being a bit more patient, fouling off a couple of tough ones to stay alive against Alamon. The next 3-2. Upstairs, he walked him. So Servideo finds a way aboard to begin things here in the third for Hyannis, and that sets the table for Mitch McIntyre. Now Mitch coming to the plate for his second look at Alamon. 0 for 1, bounced one to Cruz at shortstop his first time up. Came into tonight 4 for his first 25, as Lyle, you mentioned a bit earlier, just a 160 average. But his versatility has certainly been put on display this season for Hyannis thus far. First pitch of the at-bat, fastball right down central, strike one. Jackson Olsen adjusting those Hyannis orange and blue batting gloves in the on-deck area. Alamon from the stretch. Spinning a look back toward first. Servideo back diving safely. So Hyannis trying to get something going here in the home half of the third. Also eighth in the Cape Cod League in average, just 208 as a team. 0-1. Starting to stop from Servideo at second. He retreats back to the bag as a breaking ball missed down and away. So 1-1 now to the BYU center fielder. A pause, now the 1-1. Breaking ball, McIntyre checked his swing, but a called strike nonetheless at the top of the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So McIntyre, we mentioned, attends BYU. Has some family history at school as well. His mother, Jill, played softball at Brigham Young. So McIntyre will ask for time. He'll step out. Alamon taking a while on the mound to get his signs. Perhaps trying to get on the same page with his catcher, Claunch, who is making his Cape League debut. Look towards Servideo at first again. He's back with a dive. Wind blowing slightly from right to left. The 1-2. McIntyre checked his swing again. It's a called strike. Throw back down to first. Servideo applies the right foot back to the bag. But McIntyre is retired. So there's one down now for Jackson Olsen.
And tough break there for McIntyre. That ball is a borderline strike right at about the top of the zone, but gets rung up on it. We'll see what Jackson Olsen can do. A guy who's kind of really looking to get the bat going again. Remember, he had that 3-hit day opening night. So he can swing the bat. Just all a matter of kind of putting it together.
So Olsen trying to jumpstart not only his season, but the Harbor Hawk offense as well, with the runner aboard at first and 1 out. First pitch to him, a breaking ball just off the outer edge of the plate, 1-0. So Jackson came into tonight at 208. Picked up 3 RBIs. Another look towards Servideo. He's back in safely. Well, Servidio's definitely got some wheels over at first, no question about it. Alamon paying him all the attention he deserves, and rightfully so. Olsen awaits the 1-0. Here it is. Breaking ball just misses at the top of the zone. 2 balls and no strikes. Trevor Hopper taking some big cuts just off to the left of the home plate area, awaiting his second plate appearance of the evening. Olsen's ready, a 2-0 pitch, swing and a miss on a fastball downstairs. And the count moves back to 2-1.
And Servideo, like you said, getting a good lead over at first, and every reason to keep a lot of attention on him if you're Franco Alamon. I mean, those 23 bags that he stole at Ole Miss this year, that's real.
And he's taking off for second here as a hit and run is on. It's a grounder towards short. Cruz picks it up, fires across the diamond, and only had one play to get Olsen, and he does. But advancing up to second is Anthony Servideo. And now here comes Trevor Hauber.
Yeah, and that was an almost perfectly executed hit and run. Servideo took off with the pitch. Olsen put it on the ground, which is all you can ask for. Just find a way to advance the runner. But When I say perfect, it almost was, because it took the shortstop Cruz to his left, and Olson hit it just within his reach. I mean, he almost just squeaked it by him, hit it about where he was originally playing at before the start of the pitch. But man, just inches away from a perfectly executed base hit on a hit and run.
And Cruz showing some nice agility to be able to adjust to that on the fly, as the ball was a worm burner on the ground as Hover watches a breaking ball in for a strike on the first pitch of his second at bat of the evening. 1-for-1 is Trevor tonight. A single back in the first inning and swipes second base. Dealing with an 0-1 count here against the right-hander Alamon. And Hover will take a quick step out. He's got a runner in scoring position with 2 down. That's Anthony Servideo. Alamon set and fires. Breaking ball down and in. Clonch moving to his right to smother that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fog starting to return just a little bit. It's the outfield being masked just a little bit by the fog coming in off the harbor. Alamon kicks and fires a 1-1. That's a fastball in there for strike 2. However, not sure he agrees with that. Gives a slight shake of the head. Trevor trying to come up with some 2-out magic for Hyannis here in the third inning and put them on the board. They haven't played with a lead very often this season. The 1-2 from the right-hander. Fastball in there. Strike 3. Rung him up on the inside corner as Hover stared at the spot for a moment before heading back to the dugout, and that strikeout retires the side. 2 in the inning racked up by Alamon, and going toe-for-toe for Madison, and we'll see him when he returns to the mound in the top of the 4th when we come back on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Back to McKeon Park for play in the top of the 4th inning. The Falmouth Commodores coming back to the dish in a scoreless ball game. Both starters have been extremely prominent early on in this one as we move toward the middle innings. Troy Clonch, Michael Turner, and Blake Dunn, 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Commodores against Madison. Right-hander gets his first sign of the frame and fires a fastball just high, 1-0. Been a bit of a confined strike zone for home plate umpire Rich Catani early on in this ball game. Madison shrugs the shoulders, deep breath, and fires a 1-0. That's a breaking ball in there to even the count. Well, Madison not only has a good fastball, but he trusts his breaking stuff quite a bit. Not afraid to use it. 1-1. Fastball at the knees, a called strike. And now it's Clonch, the one shaking his head. A bit upset with that last call. So Madison finds himself ahead in the count as he works from the windup. A 1-2 offering. Swung on, fouled off the mask of Hackenberg as it sails all the way into the netting right next to the Falmouth dugout. So Clonch bounced into a 6-4 fielder's choice to end things back in the first. Catcher from Oregon State getting his feet wet in the batter's box here in the Cape Cod League. The 1-2 is in the air to left. Trevor Hopper moving over a couple steps. He'll make the grab no problem, and there's one down.
Well, I guess that shows the fog isn't too thick out there, as Hopper played that perfectly, just a couple of steps to his right. Otherwise just right in his tracks to put it away. So Madison just another out to start the top of the fourth. But that fog that we've been talking about ever since the start of the ball game, in fact, since the start of first pitch, Brendan, luckily for both teams, not playing too much of a factor here so far.
And we'll see what remains to come here from McKeon Park tonight. Is digging in Michael Turner, watches a fastball in there for a called strike, painting the outside black.
It does feel like it's kind of thinned out a little bit, because it felt like it was darker at first pitch. Now it's a little bit brighter as the game's progressed, if that makes any sense.
It's the 0-1, fastball in the dirt, knocked down by Hackenberg, and I agree. And we saw early on, about 15 minutes before first pitch, it just came out of absolutely nowhere. It was all fine and good. Lights were on, but the fog just engulfing the field of play. But now, as you just mentioned, thinned out considerably. Madison's ready for a 1-1. Here it is. Fastball, cut and a miss. Planted one on the inside half of the plate. Turner came up empty on a big cut. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, but just to quickly wrap it up, like I said, that wind just coming in from right field and maybe out kind of toward the harbor a little bit.
1-2 delivery from Madison, up high, 2-2.
Yeah, just coming in from right field. And like you said, it just came out of nowhere before about 15 minutes before the start of the first pitch. And as a result, people started looking around saying, hey, can we start this thing? But fortunately enough, started to kind of brush away a little bit.
As a 2-2 fastball misses downstairs, runs the count full to Turner. And the idea of a delay was tossed around a little bit. And we weren't quite sure if we were going to get this one in at all. A couple of fogged out games from last night in the Cape Cod League.
Yeah, players were kind of just standing around out in the outfield, tossing the ball around, waiting for some sort of signal, but first pitch started right on time.
Madison's ready for a payoff to Turner. Here it comes, a fastball high, and he lost him. So Turner heading down to first base off the 1-out walk, and that brings up Blake Dunn.
And Madison worked him deep into the count, just a little up high with that last fastball. Couldn't get Turner to chase, and now he's reached base twice today. But for Madison, just a small blip in the road, otherwise has been sharply effective so far tonight. And he's got the right part to try to get out of the inning, or rather, just to kind of progress in his further start, because 8-9 hitters coming up, both Dunn and Deloach struggling for Falmouth at the plate as of now.
So Madison trying to wiggle around a 1-out walk, and Blake Dunn from Western Michigan, the center fielder, stepping in as a look over to first. Back in standing up is Michael Turner, no problem. Dunn 0 for 1. Struck you out back in the second inning. Madison's already racked up 5 Ks tonight in the ball game. First pitch, cut and a miss from Dunn on an outside fastball, 0-1. Well, Madison, when he wants, can put that fastball anywhere within the strike zone. Pinpoint accuracy from the right-hander. Working from the stretch now, comes home with an 0-1. It's up high. And the count evens a ball and a strike. Nothing our score here, just 2 hits apiece still as we move into the fourth. Falmouth has gotten on base courtesy of a couple of free passes. A 1-1. Breaking ball in the dirt, stopped by Hackenberg, moving to his right. We've seen a lot of briskly played ball games as Hyannis pitching staff has kept them in the last couple of games. Dropping one 3-0 to the Brewster Whitecaps back on Monday. And of course, last night, a 4-0 loss at the hands of the Orleans Firebirds. 2-1 pitch cut on and sent straight back into the netting, make it 2-2 on the hitter Dunn. Zach Deloach from Texas A&M, currently residing in the on-deck area. Jared DeSantolo has crept in from behind the third base bag, now playing just about a step and a half off the lip of the infield grass. Lofton and Servideo at double play depth with just 1 down. Madison kicks and fires a 2-2. It's a breaking ball in the dirt again, and now the count runs full. So the second batter in a row that Madison has worked to a full count. Bryant Bulldog trying to regain some composure and pick out a spot to retire Dunn. A quick check over on Turner at first. Now comes set and fires the 3-2. Popped up straight up on the infield, drifting back toward shallow center. Moving after it is Nick Lofton, calls everyone off. He'll make the basket catch, 2 down.
And Lofton having to fight that fog. Again, not completely gone. As he stared up into the night sky, moving a bit to his left and back, and made the grab, but it looked like it was a little bit of a close call, catching it right on the front kind of palm of the mitt. Of course, it gets the job done, but kind of shows you, like we talked about, Brendan, in the fog, it's not gone, but it's still playing a little bit of a factor.
Yeah, certainly the fog is still prevalent. As a spin and a check back on the runner at first, Carlson applies the tag, but back standing is Turner. And it's going to take a little of adjustment for these guys. I'm sure none of them have really played in this much fog before. I'm sure they've seen it a little bit. And of course, you got other factors like high winds and rain I'm sure they've all seen. But nothing like this. As the breaking ball is sent in the air toward Mosley in right field. Drifting back now is the center fielder McIntyre. And it will bounce up off the wall. Throw back into Servideo at second. Coming around third in to score is Michael Turner as he slides across the plate, and it gives Falmouth a 1-0 advantage. And now time is called as an RBI double is laced by Zach DeLoach to get the Commodores on the board.
And there's his first hit of the summer, too. And the hardest hit ball we've seen tonight. Just scorched that one out into the gap. Kind of into the thick of the fog like we've been talking about. Just hopped off the bottom of the wall, and it sent the runner Turner scoring all the way from first. And here in the top of the fourth, there's your first run of the ball game.
And off the bat, I think Rigsby Mosley, by his reaction in right field, thought that ball was going to come tailing toward him, but it looked like he lost it in the fog a bit as he was making a beat on it. It was ultimately McIntyre to go retrieve it, as now it's back to the top of the order for Hayden Cantrell as he taps one in front of the plate. A number for Hackenberg, picks it up, fires to first to Carlson in time, and that will retire the side. But a double off the bat of Zach DeLoach, plates one, and Falmouth leads by that. 1-0, bottom of the fourth coming up. Hyannis to the plate on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Back to McKeon Park for action in the bottom of the fourth. Hyannis finds themselves trailing 1-0 in this ball game. An RBI double from Zach DeLoach did the job for Falmouth in the top half of the fourth, with Jared DeSantelo set to lead off for Hyannis. Back for his second plate appearance against the right-hander Franco Alamon. Nick Lofton and Brooks Carlson set to follow Jared here in the frame. Time is called as the ball is trickled back into foul territory by the Falmouth dugout. That will go be retrieved and taken care of. So 1 run on 3 hits for Falmouth thus far in the ball game. No runs on 2 hits and an error for Hyannis is the line score to this point. Jared struck out to end things in the Hyannis half of the first. Now stepping in for the second time against Alamon as he watches a fastball inside. The Harbor Hawks scoring drought has now reached 22 innings, trying to jumpstart the offense is Jared here in the bottom of the fourth, the 1-0. Breaking ball tap foul off to the right. Evens the count at 1-1. Well, Jared had himself quite the game back on June 14th at Gov Fuller Field. As part of that 9-9 draw, he went 3 for 4 and came around to score 3 times, as well as notched an RBI on the line score for himself. The 1-1. Downstairs, but a called strike. As Jared gives a sigh of frustration and a look back toward Alamon. And the count is now 1-2. Right-hander Alamon winds and fires. Lace foul just off to the left. So the count will hold at 1-2. Now Jared picked up 16 RBIs in his school season. As he's ready for a 1-2 on the way. That one sent over the glove and dumped into right field. Over the glove of Turner as it rolls down the line. Jared rounding first, thinking 2. The throw was going to be high, and a nice stop by Cantrell as he leaps up to grab it, but sliding in safely with a leadoff double is Jared DeSantolo.
And that's the second double of the summer for Jared. Just shoots one down the right field line. It sent the right fielder Deloach to his left and over toward the chalk, and he made a strong throw over to Trey Cruz at second base. He almost airmailed him for that matter, like you talked about, Brendan. But good to see Jared kind of jump-starting the Harbor Hawks here in the bottom of the fourth, right as Falmouth put up a run in the top of the frame. Good response, first batter of the inning.
And Cantrell really went up the ladder to go get that one that time. Perhaps saving DeSantolo from advancing another 90 feet, but here's Nick Lofton now with the runner in scoring position nonetheless. Nick's 0 for 1 tonight, bounced one to Cruz at short in his first time up. Good opportunity for Hyannis to try and bounce back in this ball game as a breaking ball misses in on the inside part of the plate. And the count is 1-0. So the Baylor Bear hitting .269 on his summer coming into action tonight. As he rips this one into left field, a base hit. Jared DeSantolo is going to put the brakes on as he came around third. Chad Gassman holding him up with nobody out, and it's men on the corners now for Brooks Carlson.
Yeah, and that was a short ground ball single into left field, so the right call by Gassman at third to hold up Jared DeSantolo. Don't want to force anything at the plate, but a really good start for this Hyannis offense. Back-to-back hits to start the inning against a really powerful arm in Franco Alamon. And Brooks Carlson, who, as we've talked about, had just an absolutely phenomenal season at Samford, has a chance to put Hyannis on the board here.
So Hyannis has now surpassed Falmouth in the hit column 4-3, looking to do the same in the runs column as a first pitch to Brooks Carlson, a fastball foul the way to the right. DeSantolo resides at third. Lofton across the diamond at first with nobody away. And some signs of life for this Hyannis offense. Trying to break a 22-inning scoreless streak. In prime position to do it with one swing of the bat from Brooks Carlson, the 0-1. Fastball down, evens the count. So Carlson playing first base tonight for head coach Chad Gassman and the Harbor Hawks. Right-handed hitter from Samford. The 0-1. Breaking ball, that's in there for strike 2. Carlson takes 1 foot out of the right-handed batter's box, takes a glance down to head coach Chad Gassman down the third baseline. Lofton with a rather short lead at first. DeSantolo with the same over at third. Alamon a pause, now the 0-2. Breaking ball in the dirt. Scampering to his right was Clonch. So Carlson trying to hang tough with 2 strikes. Big spot in the ballgame for Hyannis. Biggest threat they've posed thus far through 3 innings of play. Alamon set, a 1-2 on the way. Fastball fouled away. Carlson just getting a piece of that one to stay alive as a fastball up and in. So the count 2-2 on Carlson. Alamon ready once again and fires another fastball sent down the first baseline, but fouled toward the Falmouth bullpen. So Carlson putting up a real tough at bat here, Lyle.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hyannis needs it from him, too. Runners on the corners, middle infield back with nobody down. Of course, Brooks would take a hit any day of the week, but the ground ball to the right side or to either one of the middle infielders would probably do the trick as well.
Carlson just looking for any type of hard contact here on a 2-2 count against Alamon. The pitch. Breaking ball skied in the air off to the right, drifting out of play. Forcing the Florida International right-hander to work a little bit in this at-bat. Hyannis has mounted a couple back-to-back hits to lead off the frame. He was cruising up to this point. It surrendered just 3 base runners. The next 2-2, breaking ball on the ground toward third. Played on a hop by the third baseman Moreno to second for 1. Back to first. In time, a double play. But the run does come in as DeSantelo crosses the plate to even things up 1-1.
Well, Brendan, here comes the rain. It's starting to downpour a little bit here, but right as the rain comes down, like you said, first Hyannis run in 22 innings. Comes on a ground ball, double play from Brooks Carlson, but more importantly for the Harbor Hawk Ball Club, knocks the game up at 1.
So it goes 5-4-3, and now fans scampering for cover as the bleachers quickly emptying out. And now Falmouth coming off the field. Looks like we're going to take a break here for a rain delay as it is coming down here from McKeon Park. Well, we're going to send it to a break right here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network with the score knotted at 1 from McKeon Park. Back here from McKeon Park in the midst of a rain delay and a 1-1 tie between the Hyannis Harbor Hawks and the Falmouth Commodores. And Lyle, just talking for a minute here while we wait out this game. We don't have any information when play will resume or if play will resume. We will relay that information over to you when we get word. But a 5-4-3 double play off the bat of Brooks Carlson to drive in Hyannis' first run in 22 innings. So a positive sign for offense just before the rain came.
And any way to get the job done, really. And like we said, a hard ground ball, either right side or up the middle, would have scored Jared from third. It did just that. So Falmouth had 1 run in the 4th. That's their only tally of the game. As a result, Hyannis finds a way to drive in one of their own. So Brooks Carlson grounds into a double play, but it brings home to Santalo from third, and we got a tie ball game here. So we'll see if play resumes here at McKeon. It's pretty wet on the field right now, so it was only about, I'll call it 4 minutes of rain. About 3, or I'll say 2.5 minutes of the rain were just an absolute downpour. And then there was some drizzle for about 90 seconds, but the downpour really took its total. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see Coach Chad Gassman out there talking with the umpires and probably trying to come to a consensus on whether or not this field is playable. It will obviously take a little bit for the field to dry out a little bit and for them to rake it out a little bit to try and get this water off the field. But the tarps have been applied, and it was applied pretty quickly. And like you mentioned, Lyle, only a couple minutes of rain, but it came down pretty good.
Yeah, it came down really, really well. I don't know if probably wasn't quite a flash flood. It was just kind of a passing, cloud or two of really, really hard rainfall. And as a result, it's kind of put things on hold right now, and now it's starting to come down again. So not too hard, but there's some more rain coming down. So we'll see if there's any way they can find a way to resume play. They're talking it over right now. Chad Gassman, Ron Polk, and assistant coach Travis Poole, as well as the umpires. But right now, this field looks pretty wet, just from my just my kind of view of the eye.
Yeah, just from the naked eye, it looks like, there's a couple puddles. There's one over by third base and one over by first base, and a bit of a trail of water coming in from shortstop. But coming down a little bit here, the hitter would be Rigsby Mosley when play does continue, if it does continue here tonight from McKeon Park. Again, a 1-1 tie. Hyannis was in the middle of an offensive rally before the rain came pouring down. But once again, we will have word for you if and when play does resume here from McKeon Park. We're going to go back to a break here on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Back here from McKeon Park on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. Well, unfortunately, folks, we have some bad news for you. Baseball has been postponed to a later date. This game will be washed away. It was a 1-1 tie in the fourth inning, but ultimately the weather conditions too much to resume play here tonight. A fog/rain delay, whatever you want to call it. And Lyle, it was a pretty entertaining game all told throughout the 4.5 innings we got in. But tonight obviously just not the night for baseball.
Yeah, and just a little too much rain. Really, that downpour ended up being what caused the cancellation of this game, or really the postponement to another date. And unfortunately for both teams, they're going to have to start from square one as well. Like you said, Brendan, this game will be washed away, started again from inning one when this game is officially made up, which is too bad for both pitchers. Franco Alamon and Tyler Madison were both throwing the ball so well. And of course, the scouts won't unsee what they did. The scouts were here, and that's what's important to see, how they were working counts and how they were really kind of overpowering and missing bats for that matter. They just won't go down in the Cape Cod scorebook. So when this game eventually is made up and resumed on another date, it'll probably be two different arms, probably be a little bit different lineups. It'll start from square one, and we'll see how both these teams respond, because obviously both teams will have games tomorrow. Hyannis is set to go to Katuitt for Game 2 of the Patriot Cup on tomorrow night from Lowell Park, and we'll see how they can kind of bounce back. They got a run on the board. Of course, it won't be made official now because this game will be, again, started from scratch, but they can still use it mentally as a little bit of a propeller and a way to maybe jumpstart the offense a little bit going forward.
So it'll be a clean slate next time these two teams take on each other head-to-head. The stats and the records won't go down in the books, but the impression of the mind on the scouts from Madison and the other starter for Falmouth, Alamon, will surely last. But this game is wiped in a 1-1 fourth-inning tie. Hyannis heading to Katuitt tomorrow. We'll have that game for you from Lowell Park on the Cape Cod Baseball Network. For Brendan Howe and Lyle Goldstein signing off. We'll talk to you tomorrow.